Now, okay, this is our program now. And I am rather proud, if you could say, of these pictures, actually, because well, not just rather proud, I think it was God's gift, really, because as I stated, when I went up Mount Sinai, the whole world was there. From the St. Catherine's Monastery right to the tip of Sinai, there was everybody. There were camels, there were Bedouins saying, do you want a blanket? Because in the deserts, during the day it's boiling hot. At night it's freezing. So you had, when I got to the top of this mountain, they had these people, do you want a blanket? Do you want coffee? Do you want Coca-Cola? And there were people there from Sudan, there were Indians, there were Chinese, there were English, there were Russians. They were all going up Mount Sinai because this place, Mount Sinai, you could say symbolizes, this place, Mount Sinai, symbolizes the quest for reality. As we were saying, this program called Now, is how can we link the whole of our past, whether it's the Chinese Tao Te Ching, or it's the Indian Atman and Brahman, they all are symbolized, you say, this quest to go up Mount Sinai. So if you don't have so as I say, fortunately, when I asked the people, I said, how do I get down here? They said, go down here, and there's nobody there. Well, where am I going? I don't know. It said the stair. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lost. I like Moses in the mountain. But anyway, it's good, very photogenic. And here I am wandering through that. But I've got the stairs of St. Catherine. So this symbolizes our life. Now I'm leaving Mount Sinai, going down the mountain, and we will soon see St. Catherine, and we're going back to Jerusalem. So this is our whole life spread out. So we can imagine ourselves that Moses goes up the mountain like this. Maybe this is the plot where this is Moses walking up here, and they have their theophany. God appears to him. He gives him the 10 Commandments. You see, up here you have little huts. These are probably Eremitic people. They were little monks or hermits. They would live up here so that they can be near the place. You see, look, that's probably a little hermitage. But anyway, I'm coming down here. This is a little hermitage where people do what I've just suggested. Every one of us should go on little retreats. We retreat to the desert, whether it's actually the desert of Mount Sinai or it's anyway, we've just got to sit there, otherwise we're wasting our lives. So very simply, unless I leave Egypt, which is God, unless I go to Mount Sinai, which is a moment of reflection, I'm ending up with this monkey. As I just stated, the alternative to God's story is a monkey. So here we have these people, you can imagine. You know, the famous hermit was Saint Anthony. He was in the desert for a long time. He was thinking, I'm a good chap. But an angel said to him, come along and I'll show you somebody else. There was a Saint Paul. He was a hermit for 90 years. So you can see, he realized, okay, our life is God. So he went and lived in this kind of place in the southern part of Egypt. But anyway, we're going back to the Sinai. So as I'm just saying, there's a little bird here, which kind of sums up some of them. Anyway, we're going down, and as we were saying, the desert journey has some very important places. One of the important things is, what are they going to eat? What are you going to eat here? Where is the restaurant? Where is the big hotel? What am I going to eat?
Santa Caterina.
There we are. You see, it's a Caterina. Okay.
The corner of Saint.
See, that's Caterina. So I began to say, oh, I've got hope now. But when they were there was no Caterina, and there was what is called, this is the monastery of Saint Catherine. They have what they call the. I'm speaking Chinese and English when I'm walking down the mountain, you know. And here we have it. So this was, it was a sight for, weary eyes. It was wonderful. I could see. Okay, now I'm going to get back, because if I don't get back to this place by 7:30, there's no car taking me back to Jerusalem. So heaven. So anyway, when the Jews were in the desert for 40 years, what do they eat? There's no handy sort of corner shop. They have manna. And according to the story, this manna comes from heaven, and every day they go out and they collect it. And what does that symbolize? It symbolizes this whole thing. Sinai does, it symbolizes the London life, symbolizes our life in the world, and how do we get manna? What do we do? But before we go to heaven, so every day God gave them manna, which is, they said it looked like coriander, and they picked it up, and they had that. What does that prefigure? It prefigures every day during our 40 years in the desert, which symbolizes our life. We have to go to Mass every day. We will be given communion, food from heaven. So you can imagine, this is our life, basically. We're all stuck in this world. You see this little bird here? Look, that's the only sign of life I've seen here. It's quite a good bird. Do you know what kind of bird it is? I don't know, honestly. Perhaps you could let me know. There's a little bird here. Look at him. So anyway, I was talking to the bird, you know. Look at it. It's a rather nice bird. What is he eating? And what is he doing here? But anyway, so as I've just stated, this is maybe symbolizes our life, you know. We're in the desert flitting around. This is like, everyone's like this little bird. I'm trying to catch him so the picture's not too clean. But anyway, that's the little bird. All of us are like little bird. Okay, now this is another little hermitage. Every one of us should, in some stage of our life, as I stated, go to a hermitage, sit down and think about life. So that's why our ambitious program now is how to bring the desert of Sinai, the ascetic life. So just as sort of, just when passing, we can say the Catholic idea of prayer life, it comes from purgation, illumination, contemplation. Purgation is we purify our lives. Illumination is we began to see divine life. Contemplation, we began to see God. So this is the spiritual life, and it takes place in our little hermitages. Our little hermitages may be a flat in Taipei, maybe a flat in Tokyo, or but we've just got to do it. So here we have. Okay, we're coming down to St. Catherine's as more now. If you see the road now, we're going to take this road going back to Jerusalem. They have discovered many things. For example, they are the Sinaitic versions of the Bible. The Old Testaments have been found in here, and you see, look, there's another little monastery, little cell here. They're sitting up here, trying to commune with God. So now, if we go to a place like London, if we go to a place like London, we are told to indulge in mindfulness. And what is mindfulness to? So this is the last view of we're now going to take the drive of going back to. What does mindfulness mean? Mindfulness is just means I sit here, like I do yoga. I just sit here, and somehow or other, by just sitting here, I'm going to get in contact with God. Well, I have my doubts. If I sit here, I just sit here and I begin to think I'm hungry or think of all sorts of funny things. But so what you see, this is Mount Catherine. Look, this is the monastery of Mount Catherine. You see, okay? It's pretty good. Inside you've got these, you see, because they're all marauders. So these big walls, because you can imagine they're Bedouins, they're the terrorists. There's heaven knows what else, you know. So now we're off. Okay, we're off back to Jerusalem. And this is the straight road. While we're going along here, we can imagine that we're now heading for heaven. Okay, so in the next program, which is in a couple of minutes, we will come to a visual, a kind of a comic account of what we've just been through now. So this is the road to Sinai, going to heaven, the land of milk and honey. Okay, but just by the way. Okay, we have a bit of music here. Just by the way, when we get to Israel, and we get to Israel very simply, every day we turn on our wirelesses. Okay. All right. Now we have a visual presentation of what I've just been told. Okay. So in the desert, what happened? This is Moses. Okay, Moses. This is the sanctuary, the temple. This is the Ark of the Covenant. These are the tablets. So we have a visual presentation of what we've just been saying. This is Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai. Okay. Moses, they have little tents. You see these little tents? Well, these tents, if you go to any Catholic church, what we will see behind the altar, what is known as the tabernacle. Okay, the tabernacle. What is the word tabernacle? What does the word tabernacle mean? The word tabernacle means tent. So if we read St. John's Gospel, it says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word and the God. It says here that as it was, God tabernacled with us. In other words, that is number 1 High Street. That's Mr. Shu lives here. That's Obama lives here. And Jesus lives, God lives here. In other words, the whole of our lives are a quest for a search for God. And we can remember a thing which is very important. We are searching for God. But the main search is God searching for us. God came here. He first loved us. We are nothing. We are dust. And this is his method of entering our lives. So this picture symbolizes, this is you and this is me, okay? This is you, this is me. The 10 Commandments, that's the Holy Spirit, okay? This is me or you going to our office, going to our work, or sitting at our desks, and suddenly, and we just don't know what we're doing. We go to work, we come back again. We go to work, we come back again. And at some point in our lives, we say, what on earth is all this about? What am I doing? Okay, God has pity on us. So first of all, the Holy Spirit, he says, look, clean up your mind, clean up your act. I'm going to tell you what to do. Okay, you have listened to Buddha, you have listened to monks, you have listened to Hume, you have listened to Adam, we've listened to Voltaire and all these other people. And for example, just by the way, just remember what our modern luminaries tell us. For example, Voltaire, he said, as far as, this is Voltaire, we all know, the French sort of intellectual and funny guy. he said one day, to him paradise would be what? Is to see the last king being strangled with the entrails of the last priest. In other words, the most terrible people in the world are the priests and the kings. So we have a difficult job now. We all know religion appears to be on the wane. Perhaps we need the terrorists to remind us when something is blown up. Somebody has it. So the answer, everybody, where they like now, if for example this is me or this is you, this is Miss Armstrong or Miss Wu, okay, and she says, okay, I'm looking for the truth. I want to study, I want to go places, I want to be a superwoman, I want to do many things. But at some stage in her life, she says, well, honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going to solve this problem. So God says, okay, I'm going to help you. Okay, so he says, he comes down, okay, like this is Mount Sinai. We've just been to Mount Sinai. This is Mount Sinai. In the mountain, God gives these commandments. These are the 10 commandments, you know. The basic commands of what we should do. He gives it to him. And he says to Moses, build an ark. Okay, you see this ark? This is called the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, just it is interesting, is it? Okay, see? Okay, you see these are the commandments. This is the Holy Spirit. Okay, these are the 2 commandments. The commandments, well, not the 10 commandments. The commandments in this Ark of the Covenant became the central focus, the spiritual center of the Jewish life. That's why we're going through this little story here to remind ourselves. We started off in Jerusalem because this whole paraphernalia, the 10 commandments, the Holy Spirit, the sanctuary, the Ark of the Covenant, the cherubim, Moses, and all these people are all being transported to Jerusalem, to the temple. And that temple becomes all this here, All this here, all we can see here, this is the section now, the presence of God. This is the Mass, you see. All this here, you can get up anywhere you are in the world. Walk down to the Catholic Church, open the door, and you will see this. And you will live this. You and I are Moses today, Ark of the Covenant today. So this what we're trying to do is to show how all this is an everyday event, heaven and earth together. Okay, have a good time.